Hello, everybody. So for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Shara Prophet, the Mind Magic Coach. And I am a certified hypnotherapist, author, mystic, speaker, teacher. So yesterday, I made a post that has been circulating all around Facebook and getting some really interesting comments and feedback, and I'm really excited about that because I want to touch on this a little bit more. A lot of people were saying, that it's not just poverty, that it is depression, and that it's also trauma. I saw some really interesting comments about how having a cluttered home or hoarding can be caused by all of these different things. So my post yesterday was that a cluttered home is the reflection of a poverty mindset. So let's talk about poverty, because most of the time when we hear that word, we usually associate it with lack of resources, right? Lack of money, lack of food, lack of access. But if you go a little bit deeper into what poverty is, it is lack, right? The lack of having something, the lack of access to things that can improve your life, that can enhance your life, that can bring more to you, okay? So even if you are struggling with depression or struggling with overcoming some sort of trauma in your life, and it makes you feel like you don't want to clean your home or declutter or live in a healthy environment, right? That is the lack of motivation. It is the lack of feeling worthy of something better, okay? It's a poverty mindset. A poverty mindset doesn't just mean I think poorly, okay? Or I'm poor, therefore I'm only able to accomplish a certain level of success or a certain level of gain. Thinking poorly could mean I think poorly of myself, right? I think poorly of my self-worth. I think poorly of what I am able to accomplish in my life. Cancel, because I ain't saying that about myself. I'm giving you guys examples of what that is. So when I made that post yesterday, I wasn't just talking about someone being monetarily poor. I'm talking about having poor thinking, right? A poverty mindset is a limiting thought about your ability. You have a very small belief that you can accomplish more. So when we are feeling like we can't clear our homes or we want to hold on to everything, that means that we're afraid of getting rid of certain things, okay? Because we don't feel like we're going to have enough or we're not going to be able to get more of it, okay? If I let go of this piece of paper, I don't know if I'm going to need it in the future, okay? So I keep it, and I keep more paper and more paper and more paper and more paper because I have a poor thinking. My thinking is I must keep everything because I don't know if I'm going to have enough of it. I have to keep everything because I don't know if I'm worthy of more. So I don't know if I'm going to get more. I have to keep everything because my entire life things have been taken from me. My innocence, my body, my love, my kindness. People have taken advantage of it. So I have to keep everything locked in, locked away, protected. I have to keep all of this stuff in my house, not just in your physical home, but also in your mental home and in your emotional home. I have to keep it stored, and keep it on lockdown. That's a poverty mindset. And it transcends the lack of finances. It transcends the lack of resources in the physical sense, okay? we can have a poverty mindset and think that we lack the resource of love. So we withhold love and we hold it to ourselves and we hold it really close to the vest. We can think that we lack the resources of friendship. So we got to hold on to the people that we got real tight, and we hold a heavy judgment over them if they don't do what we want them to do, act the way we want them to act. Sometimes we're holding on to toxic relationships because we're afraid that this is the only thing that I can ever get. Because my poor thinking tells me that I am not worthy of more. So I must only hold on and attach to the thing that is killing me or unhealthy for me. That's a poverty mindset. Allowing yourself to dive a little bit deeper in these words, because the energy behind the words means so much, and you're able to understand, am I operating from a poverty mindset? That's the whole point in me posting it, is to get people talking, to spark the conversation, right? To understand that there's levels to poverty. It's not just about money. If you have experienced any kind of loss in your life and you find yourself struggling to release something, you might be suffering from a poverty mindset. Because when we hold on to things, when we hoard and we stack and stack and stack and stack and stack and stack to the point where we are not able to see above, okay? We can't get around and it keeps us stuck and locked in place. That's poverty. No matter how you slice it. I'm open to debate, right? I'm open to debate. I love conscious debate, okay? So I was really excited to see all of the comments coming through, right? Because some people think, somebody made a comment yesterday that was really interesting. And I'm like, wow, that was great, because that sparked more ideas in my head as well. And I forgot who it was. And they posted how their boss is very wealthy, has millions of dollars, and they're a hoarder, right? But their hoarding comes from not a poverty mindset, but it comes from them wanting to be in chaos, right? Okay. Very interesting. A person who wants to remain in chaos is a person who doesn't believe that they deserve to be free. They don't believe that they deserve clarity, peace. They're operating from a place of lack. Lack equals poverty. Okay. Hey, Mova. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Most of us are operating or dealing with certain things on a surface level, and that's okay. That's okay. But that's why it's important to look at words and look at the energy that the words carry and kind of take a deep dive into the words, right? I work with words all the time. So for me, this is kind of a normal thing to dissect the word and to look at the, the etymology of the word, right? And to not just look at what the American dictionary is telling us, but to look at the origin behind the word, and then to look at examples of what that word means. Okay, so when I'm looking at people who are experiencing poverty, I'm going below the surface. I'm saying, okay, there is a lack of worthiness. They don't feel worthy of more. So they are experiencing poverty. The lack of having freedom, mental clarity, an abundance of resources, an abundance of money. And when we're going after money resources, abundance of things. You know what we are really seeking? We're seeking freedom. We're seeking clarity. We're seeking the option of, do I want to go do this today, or do I want to do this today, or do I want to do nothing today? That's options. That's freedom. So we are seeking these things through tangible things like money. So that's usually the first thing on our minds when we hear the word poverty. No, I don't have a poverty mindset because my house is junky or I got a lot of stuff in my house. I just don't have time. I have ADHD. Okay. I got a lot going on in my mind. So when I'm trying to do it, I feel overwhelmed. All of that lack of time, lack of clarity, lack of focus, poverty mindset. Poverty means lack. And in order to break free of it, we need to really understand where we're operating from. We got to understand where we're operating from. And if we're so quick to say, no, that's not it. No, that ain't it. No, that ain't it. Because that word poverty is triggering, which is why I used it, because it's triggering. And people were saying, no, that ain't it. This is what I'm dealing with. This is what the thing is. It could be this. It could be trauma. It could be this. It could be that. Yeah. Trauma creates a sense of lack. Okay. Trauma creates a sense of lack. Because in trauma, 9 times out of 10, something was removed. Something was taken away. A loss was experienced. Lack. If you haven't dealt with it, you're going to feel lack. If you haven't dealt with it, you're going to want to hold on to everything that you have to avoid that feeling of loss. Okay? So I hope that breaks it down a little bit better. Thank you, everybody who shared that post, and thank you, everybody that made your comments, because it really did spark a new conversation, right? Hopefully this is helping people think a little bit differently about that word and think a little bit differently about the clutter that is in your physical environment as well as in your mind and in your heart space. Because once we get these things cleared out, everything else, we're like, I don't need that anymore. I don't need that no more. I don't need you anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just clearing the clutter in your house. It is clearing the clutter out of your life. Maybe there's certain people that are cluttering your home, cluttering your mind, and cluttering your heart space that you need to release. And it might be people that you feel like, I can't release them. That's my child. That's my husband. That's my best friend. That's my mentor. That's my family member, right? But once you start clearing this and this, right? Clearing it out of your nervous system, clearing it out of the heart space, clearing it out of your mental space, you will have more clarity. And now you'll be able to determine what needs to stay and what needs to go. But if you have no awareness of that, if you don't even know that that's an issue for you, then you will continue to operate in the cycle. And it will be very difficult to break the cycle because awareness is first. Becoming aware of the pattern and then admitting that the pattern is there. Then you can start. That's how you start the healing process. Hey, y'all. Okay. So start looking at words in a whole different perspective. All right. Words are important. Words are powerful. People say that's just a word. No, it's more than that. Words carry energy. Words are the way that we express ourselves. Okay. I wouldn't be able to share this message with you right now if I wasn't speaking it or if I didn't write it down somewhere and share it some kind of way, right? The way we learn, the way we take in the world around us, we do it through words. So how can words not be important? Words carry a lot of energy. So once you start dissecting words and paying attention to it, you ain't got to dissect every single word. But if a word jumps out at you and you're like, let me sit with this for a minute. What is the real underneath this? Because see, words have changed meaning over time. Through different cultures, traditions, and generations, the words have changed meanings. People are creating new words every day, child. Well, don't we see that? Yes, we do. People coming up with their own words and own the descriptions of everything right now, okay? Which can be helpful and also detrimental, but we ain't gonna get into all that. But words carry a lot of meaning. And those of us who are in the magical community, we understand how powerful words are. So that's why we have to be very aware of how we use them. And become aware of the true energy behind the word and what it really means, because everything is not found in the dictionary. Sometimes you need to sit with that word and let that word become its own energy and let that word tell you, this is what else I carry with me. Doesn't that sound familiar, right? Okay. Absolutely. Hey, John. Absolutely. Words can kill or heal. They really can. But we do have, when we understand the energy behind words, that's when we start to allow for the word to work in our favor. And you can allow a word to work in your favor in different ways. Poverty could be a word that could take away and diminish and make someone feel inadequate or small, inferior. But it could also empower someone to say, oh, these are different ways in which I might be showing examples of poverty in my own life. Let me clean that up a little bit. Let me sit with that. Let me see where else I need to move and adjust, okay? So awareness is everything, y'all. Awareness is everything. And sitting with words, sitting with ideas, and allowing yourself to like write it down and get really into it so you can understand yourself better. If a word jumps out at you, sit with it. Because it's jumping out at you for a reason, right? And it doesn't matter. You could have grown up in a super wealthy household, right? But that doesn't mean that you don't have a poverty mindset. Poverty just isn't something that financially poor people deal with. Poverty affects everyone because it's deeper than the lack of money. It's deeper than that. As I said before, it is the lack of something. Poverty is the lack of something, lack of love, lack of hope, lack of self-worth, lack of the ability to look within, go within, and sit with yourself. If you can't even sit with yourself because you lack that ability, that's a poverty mindset. I don't have enough time. Lack of time. Create it. Create more time. If you look at your bank account and you only got $10 in it, don't you get moving on doing something to create more money, right? So if you can't sit with yourself for 10 minutes, that's lack of time, lack of self-care, lack of self-worth. I ain't worth 10 minutes to just sit with me and figure out what the true answer to my solution could be, to my problem. Because if all you got is $10 sitting in your account and you're like, man, I need $100 today. You're going to work your ass to the bone to get $100. But what would happen if you would just sit with yourself and be like, why do I only have $10 in my account right now? What does this mean? Is it really a problem that I only have $10 in my account right now? And if I want to see more in there, what can I do that doesn't require physical action right now? What else could I do? Now you are reversing that energy of lack, getting the creative energy flowing, because yeah, I could go out here and I could do something real quick to get $100, but tomorrow I'm going to need more money. And then the next day I'm going to need more money. And then the next day I'm going to need more money. And the next day I'm going to need more money. And it's going to continue to build this sense of lack, this sense of urgency and desperation. Okay? The problem isn't the lack of money. The problem is lacking the ability to sit with yourself, with your highest self, the part of you that can see what you can't see, that knows what you don't know. The part of you that has the power to move seeming mountains. If you don't have the time, if you don't say, hey, I'm worthy to sit here and take 10 minutes, I ain't got to rush out the door to get $100 today, to even get $1,000 today, because $1,000 is not a lot of money. Hell, $1 million is not a lot of money today in this day and time. Okay, so what am I rushing to get a little bit of money for? That's a poverty mindset. I need $200 a day. I need $100 a day. That's a poverty mindset. Because what you going to do tomorrow or next week when that $200 is gone? You're going to find yourself right back in that cycle. Money does not break the cycle of poverty. Let's get that straight first and foremost. Healing does. Awareness, understanding why you're in the situation in the first place, is not because you overspent. It's not because you don't make a lot of money on your job. It's not because you didn't save. It's not because you had to choose between paying Peter or robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's not why you only got $10 in your account. That ain't going to break the poverty cycle. The poverty cycle started generations ago. Let's be really, real. That's where it started. Generations ago. But you wouldn't know that unless you sat still enough to say, okay, what's the real solution to this money issue? What does poverty really mean? Why is there so much clutter in my house? Why do I need all of this stuff? What am I really lacking in my life? What am I really in search of? And why don't I feel like I have it? How do I get into the feeling of having it now, right now? Instead of being in the constant cycle of lack. I ain't got it, I don't have it, I need to chase it, I need to make it happen, I need to do this, I need to force it to happen, I need to go here and do this, That's the rumination. The rumination of lack, the rumination of that poverty wheel, just turning and turning and turning and turning and turning and turning and turning. Get to the root of it. Otherwise, you will always be trying to keep your head up above water. You will always be trying to get just enough. Always. Until you just get tired and just let the shit pile up around you. You either get overwhelmed and let it pile up around you, or you get sick and tired and angry enough to do something different about it. That's what I did. I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired and I'm pissed off. And now I'm about to do something different. Because working 2 and 3 jobs, working myself to the bone, this ain't it. This ain't it. I ain't here to do this. I'm here to do more. When I sat and I figured out what I was here to do, when it came to me, like what I was really here to do, guess what? Money wasn't necessarily the major thing anymore. Healing became the major thing for me. Because underneath all of that was like, the reason why you don't get X, Y, and Z is because you don't think you deserve it. Because you're trying to numb the pain. That's why when you do get money, the first thing you go do is run out and release all of it. Because you don't think you deserve it. And you're trying to cover up what's really the problem by buying food, buying designer clothes, buying alcohol, buying cigarettes, buying drugs, partying, getting overweight, and then having to spin the wheel of trying to release the weight. Poverty mindset. Let's keep it real. In order to truly break a cycle, you need to understand the origin of it. And then you need to understand the origin of that. Okay? This has been plaguing not just people of color, but all people for generations. Because everybody has either overcome a poverty mindset or they are still trying to figure it out. And I don't care how wealthy you are. I don't care how many billions of dollars you got sitting in your bank account. You can still be a victim of a poverty mindset. Whether it's you hoarding all of your money and you won't release it because you're afraid that you won't get it back, or whether you keep people at bay because you are afraid they're going to take advantage of you. Or you think you got to save the planet because of the fear of the lack of resources, because it's not enough here for everybody. That's a poverty mindset. Let's be real. If we teach people how to identify the poverty mindset, people would not need to create as much trash on the planet. They would not need to run out to the store and stock up on everything because they're afraid that we're going to run out of it. Okay? That's a poverty mindset. They would learn how to heal themselves in the physical body. It would reduce pollution, trash, carbon emissions, if we understood poverty for real on a deeper level. Just keeping it real. That's a real ass conversation right there, as my mentor would say. Okay? So hopefully this puts something on your mind today to ponder a little bit. Share this video if you feel so inclined. I think it's a good way to get some conversations going out there in the wind. Right now we are on day number 9 of the 21 Mindset Reset Challenge. So if you guys are interested, you can come on over and sign up for that. It is happening in a private Facebook group. Every day I go live in there and we do, guided meditations, deep breathing, mantras, things like that. So, it's awesome. All right. So I love y'all so much. Hope this was helpful hope this was helpful for somebody out there today. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.